So welcome everybody. Today, I'm Linda Vickers, and today I have with me Hannah Raw. And Hannah has moved to Canada from South Africa. And I'd like to hear your thoughts about love.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Linda. It's so wonderful to be here and
Yes.
such a great opportunity to be able to share what that means to me personally. So, yeah, I would love to share a little bit about some of the ways that I have received love and the ways that I've shared love too. And I was
Yeah.
just saying to Linda that truly believe you can't share love from a place that you haven't received that love for
Mhm.
yourself. And so I think it's really important to understand what it means to love. And especially in this time right now, it is so important that we learn how to love one another. And like you said, Linda, I really love how you said that love is an action word, and
Mhm.
that really rings true for me in my life as well. So yeah, like some of the ways that I have personally received love have looked different within every season, which I'm sure it has for many of you. That, with every season, our lives look different, and that we receive it differently too, with like the different things that might be going on in our lives as well. There's been times in my life where I haven't been able to receive that love, and so that has often caused me to struggle to share that love as well. So I
Okay.
think that, yeah, I have definitely been through seasons, um, yeah, where my heart was closed off, and I really struggled to be able to receive from other people. And, people would share their love with me, like through different ways, through quality time, through acts of service, or doing all of these different things. Even with my own family especially, there was that my heart was cold, and I struggled to open up my heart to other people. And so it was a journey of like learning how to receive love. And I really believe that what the moment that changed for me was when I started to believe and truly believe that I was worth being loved. And so
Oh,
it
that's very
really
good. And that is really, I really feel like that's for someone, that is for someone right now, and probably for a few
absolutely.
people, because
Mhm.
as we try to show love to others, sometimes it isn't received, and then you feel
Yeah,
rejection and
exactly.
and try to not take it personally. And so
Mhm.
this is really important what you're saying here, because it's, even though we're trying to release love and share love, especially in, with the people that are closest to us,
Yes,
it's not always received in the way it's intended. So
exactly.
what brought you, this is an interesting topic, because this affects a lot of people. So what
Yes.
brought you to the part of knowing your value? What changed in that?
So for me personally in my life, like I don't know where many of you are at, and I know, Linda, like some of what your story has been, and how in your life God has played a huge role in your life. And so for me, that is what the moment that things change was. I realized that God loves me, and that I am enough just the way that I am,
Mhm.
and that I don't have to earn his love. I don't have to work for that. And as soon as I started to believe that, and I still struggle with that as well, like it's a journey, it has been a journey for me. Every day I have to choose to receive that and to believe that in my heart, not just in my mind, but like in my heart. So, like I grew up growing up in the church. I grew up in a Christian home, in a loving family where I was cared for, I was taken care of. But even then, I still struggled to receive that into my heart, that the truth of you are worthy of being loved, that you are loved, and that God loves you because you are his daughter. So um,
Mhm.
that was a very long process for me of it becoming not just a head knowledge of God loves you, because that's something that I heard my whole life, you know,
Right.
in church and Sunday school, right? We hear these sayings of God loves you and, you know, be blessed and all of those things. But, you know, until it really becomes a heart knowledge and not just merely a head knowledge of like, this is the truth, but like it receiving it into your heart, I believe that it it really makes it difficult to receive love from other people when you haven't received that from God and you haven't received that truly in your own heart. So yeah, for me, God has played a huge role in my life, and it was only until I received that knowledge into my heart that I truly was able to start receiving that love from other people. And I was then out of that place of love able to share that with other people, and not in a way of I have to do this for you in order to receive that love. It was more like I want to share this love with you because this love is so real, so true in my heart. And like I know that even if you don't receive that love, or you know, say I clean for you, or say I do say a lovely say something lovely towards you, to whoever in my
Yeah. Yeah.
life, then you know, whatever that matters, like it doesn't matter. I know that I already know that I'm loved. So I think that when we receive that love, it prevents things like rejection happening in our life. And there's been many times where I would share love with other people. So one of the ways that I like to share love with other people would definitely be through acts of service.
Okay.
So I guess, you know, in every season it's looked different. Like right now, there's been times where I've had a lack of resources. So I've had to find creative ways of telling other people, in the people who are closest to me in my life, and to other people, whoever, that, you know, that I or like that I appreciate you. Maybe not necessarily I love you, but it's like you said, it's an action. It's not necessarily you don't necessarily have to say it. It's And I think that those actions, your actions, can speak so much louder
Yes.
in a lot of people's lives, because you never know where they might be at in their life. They might be in a similar place of where I was at, of not being able to receive that love because there are other things in their lives that are hindering them from receiving that. And you know, you can say all the nicest things, or all the words of affirmation, and you can, you know, do all the acts of service and spend all the time with them, but there still might be things in their life that are preventing them from truly believing that you appreciate them, that you love them. So yeah, I would say that acts of service has definitely been one of the biggest ways that I've shared love throughout like my life. And even today as well, it's something that I especially enjoy, is cleaning for people. And I enjoy doing all sorts of different things that are like acts of service related, be that cooking or cleaning, or running errands for people. And even in my workplace as well, like that's one way that I've showed like my coworkers too that I appreciate them, is through doing acts of service. And I would say another one would definitely be quality time. And
Mhm.
I think that's definitely comes from me being a quality time person. That's one of the ways that I have received love the most. Like it's one of the biggest ways that I've been able to receive that love. So yeah, I would say quality time would definitely be one. And I also enjoy giving gifts, even though it's not like my number one. But yeah, I'd say again, like the acts of service has definitely been one way that I enjoy sharing that with that love, helping hand to in people's time of need as well, wherever there is that need. And yeah, I enjoy being able to feel that.
Oh, that's really good. So, so by doing the acts of service to release love and to give love, and so
Mhm.
how do you have a specific example of when you received it?
Well, receiving that love, like through like quality time, through any way. Okay, so like
Yeah.
for me personally, I say maybe an example of that, in the past or more recently. Just trying to think here. Definitely, I think it would be when I had some of my friends over for movie night, and we hadn't seen one another for quite some time,
Mm,
and I thoroughly enjoyed that, being able to, you know, have that just like this time of like intentional time of sharing what's going on in each other's lives and catching up, even though we hadn't seen each other for a while. It's like no time had passed, and so that was really wonderful to see that connection. That, you know, I think a true friendship is one that can stand the test of time.
yes. Yeah.
And there have been friendships in my life that have really have been that, and I've been extremely blessed by those friendships. So yeah, that was the
Mhm.
one time more recently that I enjoyed receiving that love. And one other way would definitely be when I've caught up with a friend or spoken to someone, and you could just see that they were actively listening to me. And that is something that I really value, is when there's that uh, active listening too, because for me that like builds that trust and that respect too as well, where you can see that they're not necessarily listening to respond, but they're listening merely just to listen. And you know, sometimes I I think that for me, it's been like what's really meant a lot has been when someone has listened to my struggles or listened to the things that have been difficult for me in the time, and they've not necessarily jumped to give their advice or their opinion.
Yes.
And it's more just like I want to listen to you, and that in itself has been so supportive and so special too.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. And you did say one word was that really jumped out was intentional. And often we do need to be intentional with our time, with our acts of service, with just the thoughtfulness that it's coming out of our heart. But we
Right.
need to be intentional.
Mhm. Yeah. And sometimes one is not always going to feel the most sincere and is not going to feel the most present when sharing love. And it's not always going to be that way for other people. And so that's definitely something that I am still growing in and learning, is to accept that no one's perfect and to have that grace for other people. But it
Hmm.
also comes back to, for me, it comes back to knowing that regardless of, you know, what other people do for me, like I'm already loved and I'm already enough. And you know, it's not, necessarily what other people can do for me, but what I can do for them too, and how I can also to serve them too, and to love them through that. So I think the serving is definitely the servant heart. That's really something that I feel is a big part of my personality, and I definitely want to continue in that and to grow in that as well. So
That's a really good description of love being an action word. Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
mhm.
Thanks so much for sharing today, Hannah. Just glad to have you on the page, and we'll talk to you again.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.